that product from that managing the business side, it's good. It's definitely good. It makes people feel good. But eventually, you have to quantify that. And from a business side, this is where Orange Theory has done super well in quantifying workouts. They have them wear heart rate monitors. They try to get them into the orange zone, which we know that it's not always true that you burn the most calories, etc. But whatever, they are embracing technology. They're pushing systems forward, and they're able to quantify movement. And I think when we look at this whole transition from fitness to fitness, business to business, I go back to it frequently. I just actually wrote a blog post about the 4 brands I most admire and that I'd like to emulate my company from. If you'd like, check it out in the blog. But let me go over the companies real quick. Under Armour, Marvel and Disney, Starbucks, and Virgin. All because they've solved problems and have been able to deliver them at scale, right? And saving people time and sometimes money. And I think for us as a company, that's going to be our determining factor. Whether or not we're a fitness business or whether or not we're a true business is how we're able to scale and learn those lessons. Now, SoulCycle, by the way, has done extraordinarily well. I mean, $6,000 per class. Their instructors are well paid, not always well trained, but well paid. And their business model of making people feel good is something you can't ignore. Let's not discount that. On the flip side, are they going to be able to go nationwide and have 600 locations? I don't know that that's the case. Looking backwards, I think taking the lessons from the fitness side, applying them to the fitness business, and then transitioning to the business, the business world, I think that's super important. And I think it's really lost on most trainers. The ability to communicate, the ability to have compassion, empathy. We often call it the ABCs. So apathy, behavior, and cognition. How are those as a trainer? Most trainers have the cognition. Do they behave well enough to allow the trainer relationship with the client to be professional? I think the expression is friendly, not familiar, so that the exposure is more of a professional side. And then on the last thing is apathy. Being able to understand from a client perspective what they're going through and having the client's agenda first, not yours as a trainer. And that's difficult. That's that evolution from a fitness professional to a real business-minded trainer, and then eventually to the business side of things. Because for a trainer, the lifestyle, let's face it, it's not always sustainable. It's not always realistic that they can crush 180 sessions a month. I know, I've done it. I only did it once, by the way. And I think the lifestyle has to be kept in mind. How am I going to be a trainer? How am I going to change lives over time? And so if that's the end goal, changing lives over time, we have to reverse engineer, to steal a Gary Vee quote, we have to reverse engineer that concept and say, well, I either have to have products, I either have to have scale, I either have to have systems, or I have to have all three. And I think with the systems, right, that's where I talk about Starbucks, the importance of systems. How does that coffee taste the same everywhere? Systems. The message, how do we deliver that message where we're all about change? That's where Under Armour is just fantastic, their message. And how do we do it via storytelling? I think that's where really Disney and Marvel do a fantastic job of telling different stories that haven't been told before. And then obviously with Virgin, without a doubt, they just solve problems. And that's a true entrepreneur, is solving problems. So for us, it's how do we help people have that escape from, and this is the business side, right? We're not talking fitness. How do we help people take that escape, make that escape, and have that jump from the urban jungle? I mean, it's wild outside. It's completely wild. How do we help them go from that urban jungle where there's all these worries? They got family, they got work, they got they're worried about their kids, they're worried about travel, they're worried about finances, and come in and just let go, and not have their phone on ring and be able to just let go. We have some of our clients that actually take notes on our whiteboard because they're able to kind of lose themselves in the session, and then all of a sudden this creative energy comes out. So that's the fitness business and business continuum that I think ultimately I was able to look at the E-Myth, and it's a great book, by the way. If you haven't read it, I think the new version is the E-Myth Revisited. Super important book for you to read. But what I'd like you to grasp is, and go into the book with an open mind about, is if you're a trainer and you're looking at this, is to have that understanding that there is this continuum, and it's not linear. It's definitely not linear. It's not It's not overnight. You're not going to go from a fitness expert to a fitness business expert to a business expert. But when it happens, it's you're going to notice and feel these steps. I can literally remember the quote, the question that was asked to me. What's next for you? And so with this, I'm going to leave you in the first episode of It's Not Fitness, It's Business. But the question is, what's next for you? And I think that's super important. President Bartlett on the West Wing, just nerd alert, used to ask it, what's next? And I think it's super important to keep in mind, because so often we want to get into the daily routine and continue to flow through checking bank accounts, checking appointments and calendars. But it's super important to ask on many levels, what's next? So until next time, it's not fitness, it's business.